is a very special one because it is the result of extra efforts of a lot of people. As you know, the Congress originally should have taken place in March, but the pandemic has changed our plans and a little bit our lives. However, we didn't give up and we managed to organize the event by adopting new technologies. And now we are ready to start. Let me introduce our hosting MEPs from the European People's Party, the political family at the European Parliament who is organizing this event, together with CAP, the Confederation of Portuguese Farmers, and ASAJA, the Spanish Association of Young Farmers. I would like to welcome Mr. Nuno Melo, Portuguese MEP. Thanks for being with us. Mr. Melo is the man behind this Congress. He had the idea of creating the Congress together with CAP and ASAJA. And he will now give us a few words about the Congress history and analyzing a little bit the challenges of 2020. Mr. Melo, I leave you the floor.
Bem-vindos à 6ª edição do Congresso Europeu de Jovens Agricultores do PPE. A realização de uma 6ª edição significa que a criação do Congresso foi uma aposta ganha e ainda bem que foi uma aposta ganha. Este ano decidimos que seriam 5 os deputados a tratar de toda a logística e organização do Congresso. Eu próprio, eurodeputado português, Herbert Dorfman, eurodeputado italiano, Mary McInnes, eurodeputada irlandesa, Azim Ademov, eurodeputado búlgaro, e Juan Inácio Zoido, eurodeputado espanhol. Sucede que, em outubro passado, deixamos de ter na organização a colega Mary McInnes, que foi, devo recordar, sempre embaixadora da Irlanda desde a primeira edição. Esta saída, apesar de tudo, acontece por uma razão que é muito boa. A colega Mary McInnes foi nomeada Comissária Europeia com uma pasta relevante, que é a pasta da estabilidade financeira, serviços financeiros e união dos mercados de capitais. E é por isso que, em meu nome e em nome dos colegas organizadores do Congresso, lhe desejo toda a sorte neste novo e importante cargo. Este ano, como sabem, fomos forçados a lidar com a realidade da pandemia de Covid-19 e, por essa razão, pela primeira vez na história do Congresso, tivemos de optar por este formato digital. 2020 é um ano desafiante para todos, devido à pandemia, obviamente, mas é sobretudo um ano desafiante para os agricultores, porque trata-se de um ano em que a Comissão Europeia lançou a estratégia Farm to Fork, que tem como objetivo alcançar um sistema alimentar justo, saudável e ecológico. É também, obviamente, um ano de oportunidades, em relação a uma estratégia que está no cerne do Acordo Verde Europeu, e o PPE está na vanguarda do debate prioritário, sendo que eu devo dizer, o PPE tem como relator este propósito o meu colega co-organizador, Herbert Dorfman, um eurodeputado particularmente competente. A crise veio demonstrar que os agricultores são importantes na nossa sociedade, foram até os agricultores que durante a crise nunca deixaram de trabalhar para continuarem a fornecer alimentos de elevada qualidade, seguros, a bom preço aos cidadãos europeus. É por isso também que investir na renovação geracional, que está na base de toda a lógica deste Congresso, é uma tarefa prioritária da União, que tem na autonomia alimentar até hoje um dos maiores sucessos do projeto comum, mas que encontra no progressivo envelhecimento de quem se dedica ao setor um risco real. E é este risco real que nós queremos combater. Apenas 11% de todas as explorações agrícolas da União Europeia são geridas por agricultores com menos de 40 anos. Por isso, este Congresso nasceu tendo como principal objetivo a promoção, também a valorização da agricultura europeia, dando especial destaque aos jovens agricultores. Eu orgulho-me, obviamente, de estar na base do nascimento do Congresso Europeu de Jovens Agricultores no ano de 2012. E, como no ano passado, iremos atribuir em 2020 prémios aos melhores agricultores jovens da União Europeia. Em 2018 contamos com cerca de 300 jovens agricultores que são oriundos de 19 países da União Europeia, tendo 12 projetos a concurso. Mas este ano, 2020, posso adiantar que teremos a maior participação de sempre de países, assim como o maior número de projetos a concurso, 15 projetos. Com a organização do Congresso, pretendemos valorizar aqueles que serão o futuro do setor agrícola europeu, que é estratégico, e mostrar à Europa qual o rumo a seguir. E o rumo é este: mais jovens, melhor agricultura, melhores práticas. serão premiados aqueles que o júri considerar o campeão digital da agricultura, o campeão ambientalmente sustentável na agricultura e o campeão alimentar na agricultura. Temos todas as condições para fazer deste Congresso uma plataforma de ideias para os jovens agricultores na nova PAC e tenho a certeza que os projetos que estarão ao concurso serão um espelho, digamos assim, do dinamismo do setor na Europa. O Congresso Europeu de Jovens Agricultores do PPE é hoje considerado, isto não é de sumenos, o maior evento realizado na Europa no que refere à temática de jovens agricultores, sendo que a troca de experiências entre as diferentes realidades de cada Estado-membro é, sem dúvida, uma das marcas deste Congresso e uma vantagem grande para os seus participantes. Com a realização do Congresso de Jovens Agricultores do PPE, já trouxemos cerca de 1.500 jovens agricultores de toda a União Europeia ao Parlamento Europeu em Bruxelas e, mais uma vez, o PPE e os seus eurodeputados são aqueles que, através deste evento, vêm demonstrando um apoio inequívoco aos jovens agricultores. A política europeia agrícola comum significa um dos maiores sucessos da União Europeia, porque significa autossuficiência alimentar, significa produtos de qualidade, significa produtos a preços acessíveis e a crise que atravessamos veio demonstrar ainda mais a importância da autossuficiência alimentar europeia, porque durante a crise, note-se bem, os agricultores nunca falharam, perante todas as dificuldades, estiveram sempre lá. E é por isso que nunca é demais falar da importância da renovação geracional do setor agrícola da União Europeia. Sem os jovens agricultores, a agricultura não tem futuro, e sem um setor agrícola forte, o projeto europeu entrará em colapso. No que dependa de mim, estarei sempre do lado dos jovens agricultores, no que dependa do PPE, por seu lado, a agricultura continuará a ser um setor estratégico e com muito futuro, e dito isto, que tudo corra pelo melhor. Muito boa sorte a todos e muito obrigado.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Melo, for your encouraging words. I also would like to welcome Mr. Juan Ignacio Zoido Alvarez from Spain, member of Agri Committee at the European Parliament. Thanks for being with us. I know that you also want to address our participants and attendees. Please go ahead.
Buenos días a todos y un caluroso saludo virtual desde Bruselas. Como todos sabéis, la pandemia nos ha obligado a cambiar de formato de congreso de jóvenes agricultores que teníamos pensado y hoy tenemos que reunirnos de manera virtual. La pandemia ha tenido consecuencias mucho más importantes en toda la población y en todos los sectores económicos y los jóvenes agricultores lo habéis sentido de manera especial. Siempre digo que los europeos le debemos mucho a nuestros agricultores y ganaderos, pero durante la pandemia esto ha quedado especialmente en evidencia. Parece ya lejano, pero allá por febrero de este año los agricultores estabais protestando en las calles de muchos países europeos pidiendo precios justos y el apoyo de los gobiernos. Sin embargo, en cuanto irrumpió la pandemia no dudasteis en dejar de un lado vuestras legítimas reivindicaciones para volver a vuestras explotaciones y seguir al pie del cañón, garantizando el suministro de alimentos a toda Europa. Gracias a vosotros y a vuestra generosidad, Europa no tuvo el más mínimo problema de abastecimiento. Una situación completamente opuesta a la que ocurrió en el caso del material médico y los equipos de protección. Imaginad qué habría ocurrido si hubiéramos tenido que traer la comida de China como nos ocurrió con las mascarillas. Afortunadamente tuvimos nuestros héroes del campo trabajando de manera incansable y todos pudimos confinarnos en casa sin preocuparnos por qué y cómo íbamos a llenar la nevera. No obstante, no podemos olvidar que los problemas a los que se enfrentaba el campo europeo, por los que os manifestabais, no han desaparecido. Al contrario, la pandemia los ha agravado. En primer lugar, los costes de producción se han disparado, además de la instalación de pantallas de separación, la compra de los equipos de protección, de hidrógeno y de mascarilla. Los agricultores también están teniendo que sufragar las pruebas PCR de todos los trabajadores. Y en segundo lugar, las medidas de confinamiento están imponiendo sustanciales cambios en las tendencias de consumo de los europeos. El cierre de la hostelería, tanto en Europa como fuera de nuestras fronteras, ha reducido la demanda de muchos productos, desde el vino y los espirituosos a determinados cortes de carne. En consecuencia, los agricultores y ganaderos estáis teniendo que producir de manera más complicada, con unos costes más altos y con un mercado más reducido para vender vuestros productos. Por todo ello, en el Partido Popular Europeo creemos que los gobiernos nacionales, regionales y las instituciones europeas tenemos la obligación moral de ayudaros. Es lo mínimo que podemos hacer para devolveros un poco de lo mucho que os debemos como sociedad. Y este Congreso es nuestro granito de arena con el que pretendemos reconocer vuestros esfuerzos, demostrar a la sociedad que hay millones de jóvenes agricultores trabajando para que día tras día todos los europeos podamos comer alimentos de calidad a precios razonables sin preocupaciones. En nombre de todos los europeos, muchas gracias.
Thanks, Mr. Zoido Alvarez, for your addressing. And now, last but not least, I welcome Mr. Asim Adamov, Bulgarian MEP. Thanks for being with us. Please take the virtual floor.
Скъпи млади фермери, преди почти 9 месеца с вас трябваше да се видим на живо в Брюксел и да изкараме 2 пълни дни с емоции, нови приятелства и сълзи от радост за победителите в конкурса за Европейската награда. Уви, пандемията от COVID промени плановете ни и превърна 2020 година на изпитания и тревоги за земеделските стопани в цяла Европа. Преминахме през много тежък период, от който вярвам, че ще излезем по-силни, защото не трябва да забравяме, че всяка криза е възможност за промяна. А кой би бил по-добър носител на тази промяна, ако не вие, младите? Не искам да повтарям тъжната статистика, но да, имаме проблем. Над 1/3 от земеделските стопани в Европейския съюз са на възраст над 65 години, а в същото време все по-малко млади хора искат да се занимават с земеделие и да живеят на село. Селските райони са изправени пред демографска криза и много спешно се нуждаят от приток на свежа кръв и идеи. Темата за и обновяването на поколенията е много близки до нас, тук в Европейския парламент и много близка до моето сърце. Като учител по професия и призвание, животът ми винаги е бил свързан с работата с младите хора. Вярвам, за да има бъдеще селските ни райони, е от съществено значение повече млади хора като вас, мъже и жени, да проявят интерес към тази благородна професия и да искат да се обучават земеделска дейност. Вие сте тези, които ще направят прехода към устойчиво и умно земеделие възможен с прилагането на екологични практики, нови технологии и иновации в стопанствата си. Ще кажете да, звучи прекрасно, но животът на село е труден. Доходите от земеделска дейност са ниски. Има проблем с достъпа до земя, финансиране и съветнически услуги за младите фермери. Всичко това не ми е чуждо. Идвам от малко планинско село в красивите Родопи в Южна България, където също изпитваме последиците от застаряването на населението. Всички сме наясно, че за да вдъхнем живот на селските райони и да върнем младите хора в тях, трябва да създадем необходимите предпоставки. Достъп до интернет, до училище за децата ни, до болница, до активен социален живот в местната общност. Направихме важна стъпка, като гласувахме наскоро реформата на общата селскостопанска политика. Но имаме да извървим още много път заедно. Въпреки всички предизвикателства, които ни предстоят, като човек, който е израснал на село, искам да ви кажа едно. Вие сте благословени да сте близо до земята и до корените си, да черпите сили от истинските ценности в живота. Чистият въздух, красивата природа, домашно произведената храна, за която си работил със собствените си ръце, любовта и подкрепата на семейството. Моето ключово послание към вас, настоящи и бъдещи земеделци, е: ако имате любов към земята, към селските райони и производството на храни, смело следвайте мечтите си, защото Европа разчита на вас.
Thanks, Mr. Adamov, and to all of our hosting MEPs. This event has gone beyond the hemicycle of the European Parliament and has also received the support of the European Commission. I'm pleased to announce that we have a video from our Commissioner for Agriculture, Janusz Wojciechowski, who wanted to give his contribution. He couldn't participate in person, but he wanted to send to young farmers his message. Let's have a look together to what he said.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for giving me the opportunity to say a few opening words at your conference. Personally, I am convinced of the importance of young farmers for the future of the European Union agriculture. But much more importantly, the European Commission is convinced about the need to increase the number of young farmers and to stimulate generational renewal, to ensure a bright and sustainable future for European Union agriculture. It is a crucial time for the new farm policy of the Union. The European Parliament, the Council, and the Commission have started to negotiate the details of the new policy. Now is the moment to ensure that the new policy delivers food security for everyone, fair income for farmers, and better targeted support to smaller and medium-sized farms. Now is the moment to deliver on our climate and environmental objectives in much more effective manner, while paying special attention to young farmers and generational renewal. The Commission will play its full role in these negotiations, not only as an honest broker between the Council and the Parliament, but also as a driving force for greater sustainability. The new Common Agricultural Policy must help farmers in delivering on the targets of Europe's Green Deal. These Green Deal targets, such as a reduction in use of pesticides and antibiotics, in the increase in organic farming area, are also a central element in the recommendations we are preparing for member states. With the recommendations, we aim to support member states in their preparation of future national strategic plans for the Common Agriculture Policy. We will recommend member states with the biggest challenges in terms of generational renewal to take more action to support young farmers. Finally, I would like to call on your engagement and expertise. Get involved in the dialogue with your governments on the preparation of the Common Agriculture Policy Strategic Plan to ensure that your needs are addressed. I wish you a successful conference.
All right, thanks to the Commissioner for the message and the endorsement of this Congress. As we have heard from our hosting MEPs and also from the Commissioner, the outbreak of COVID-19 and all the consequences had a significant impact on all aspects of life across Europe. And in addition to threatening our health, they are also posing a challenge to all the economic sector, including also the agricultural sector. That's why we have decided today to dedicate part of this Congress to talk about the future of farming, also in the light of the new CAP, the new rules on the Common Agricultural Policy. We know that negotiations are still ongoing, but what can we expect from there? That's why we want to hear the voice of the farmers, the business, and the industry. I'm going to introduce you our panelists who are definitely going to give us insightful points of reflection about this. I welcome Mr. Norbert Linz, MEP, Chair of the Committee on Agriculture and Rural Development. Joining us, there is also Eduardo Oliveira y Sousa, President of the Confederation of Farmers in Portugal. From Spain, we have Pedro Barato, President of ASAJA, the Spanish Association of Young Farmers, and always representing the voice of young farmers, but from all Europe. We have Yannis Maes, President of CEJA, the Council of European Young Farmers. Thanks to all of you. To our viewers, we are also looking forward to hearing from you as well. So if you have questions to ask, remarks, please use the social media or the Q&A section in Zoom. We will bring them to our panelists. They will be happy to engage in the discussion. So I would like to start with Mr. Linz. As I said before, the EU is at a crucial point. The consequences of the pandemic are already visible and are hitting many sectors of the economy. But which lesson can the EU learn from COVID-19 regarding the agricultural sector?
Yeah, thank you very much, Elena, for this question. I'm of the opinion that the EU food chain has proved very resilient, and I'm of the opinion that the farmers, especially the young farmers, did a great job during the pandemic, especially during the beginning of the pandemic. Our farmers delivered when it was necessary. However, the COVID-19 outbreak and its dramatic consequences have cast a fresh light on the importance of maintaining resilient food supply chains and the strategic importance of food sovereignty for the EU. In my opinion, the Commission and especially the European Parliament has reacted very fast when it came to the discussion of green lanes, when it came to the discussion of seasonal workers. Now we know how important these things were to guarantee food security within the European Union. But on the other hand, we saw that the EU is a net food exporter, and this means that we had the experience that our food security remains fragile. And there I see a need for an improvement and for a better doing in the future. So I think we have done very well, but in some areas we should do better, and we should have a discussion to make our food supply chains more resilient than before.
Thank you very much. I'm sure that all the panelists agree, but I would like then to go on the ground to see what's the situation in some member states. In particular, let's go to Portugal. Mr. Oliveira Sousa, how farmers are coping with COVID in Portugal? Can you give us, some news from Portugal?
Well, good morning to everybody. Are you listening me well? Okay.
Yes, we hear you.
We never know. We never know. I haven't tested before the microphone, so I would like to thank you everybody to assist to this Congress and to give just a good morning day for European members of the Parliament who helped us constructing this event. So thank you very much for your presence and for your support. Well, COVID-19, it's a problem for every kind of activity. It's a social problem, it's a health problem, it's a financial problem. Of course, agriculture have been touched and in a hard way, especially on those activities that are very close to the final consumers. Producers, the farmers who sell directly in the small markets for restaurants, for hotels, etc. For example, here in Portugal, we have some producers of small cheese from small ruminants, from sheep and goats, the piglets, the flowers, for example. The market for the flowers and interior plants have collapsed completely. So those farmers, they have crossed, and they are still, some of them, crossing a very bad period. Well, but some new ideas came. For example, selling products through internet, organizing the chain of delivery. we have helped, we have asked for the the enterprises, for the big supermarkets, to those chains to intensify a little bit the the market for those kind of products, especially for those farmers, the smaller farmers that are not so well organized, and those that were not used to sell to those big chains. So we felt there was a very interesting hands union, and we had crossed that hard period after the lockdowns. Things got a little better afterwards, but one thing it's essential to say. The most important stability came from PAC, from CAP. The aids from CAP, essentially the aids from the first pillar, they are a kind of a guarantee, a stability. And that stability, it's very important to understand how much is the importance of the CAP policy and those negotiations that we are crossing in this moment.
Thank you very much. As you said, yes,
policy
internet digitalization, we saw that in many sectors of our economy played a major role, and we're going to talk also later about the need of introducing new technologies and modernize also the way the agricultural sector is functioning. But before coming back also to PAC, I would like also to have some news from Spain, because we have our partners from the Spanish Association of Young Farmers. I would like to ask him, what's the situation nowadays in Spain for young farmers, how things changed with COVID, and which are the main challenges that they are facing nowadays?
Bueno, pues buenos días, y saludar también a nuestros colegas portugueses, también al presidente del CEJA y a los demás participantes que lo harán dentro de un momento. En España el COVID ha sido muy dramático en todas sus circunstancias, en muchas zonas que no teníamos COVID y ahora tenemos COVID, pero sí el sector agrario lo ha hecho francamente bien, porque nosotros estamos en movilizaciones en todas las carreteras españolas en el mes de febrero y marzo, y los tractores no los metimos en los garajes. Lo que hicimos fue salir a las calles a desinfectar todas las calles de los pueblos de España. Y ahí la gente joven, los jóvenes agricultores, por lo menos los que pertenecen aquí a Saja, hicieron un papel fundamental en esos días. Y luego, pues los jóvenes en España, pues pasa un poco como en los demás países. La incorporación de los jóvenes, en España hay muchas vocaciones para dedicarse a la agricultura, pero luego a medida que se incorporan se desinflan. ¿Por qué? Pues porque las administraciones, la burocracia es muy grande, los préstamos que tú has cogido de la banca llegan antes que el pago a esos jóvenes agricultores. Al final sobra dinero para la incorporación de esos jóvenes, y el año pasado nosotros, en el territorio nacional, incorporamos a 1.057 jóvenes en todo el territorio nacional, nosotros como organización. Pero la burocracia los mata, todo lo que es el papeleo, todo lo que es las situaciones que desde luego no llegan como tenían que llegar. Nosotros necesitamos una estabilidad. La PAC debe ser una estabilidad para ellos, se va a incrementar un poco esa cuantía, pero lo que el joven agricultor, como los agricultores europeos todos, lo que no deseamos es que tengamos vicepresidentes como el señor Timmermans, que pone muchas veces en sus declaraciones en riesgo lo que es esta vocación de agricultor. Hasta la propia presidenta de la Comisión le ha tenido que llamar la atención para que no ponga en riesgo. En plena pandemia estaban más preocupados por planteamientos políticos, de todo lo que es esa batalla que tenemos ahora de poner los productos desde el campo a la mesa, y yo creo que nuestros dirigentes europeos se han preocupado mucho de lo que es la mesa y de luego poco del campo desde mi punto de vista. Así lo dicen los informes de los propios americanos cuando hacen el informe de la agricultura. Y luego también, pues, agricultor joven lo que pide es que haya una viabilidad. Los precios es algo que estamos muy acostumbrados a que sean muy volátiles cuando bajan, pero cuando suben, desde luego, es distinto. Nosotros en España estamos tratando de tener una nueva ley que llamamos la ley de la cadena, en donde dé estabilidad, permanencia y futuro a las relaciones comerciales o a las relaciones entre el productor y el consumidor. Y de ahí, pues que en esa cadena que ha funcionado perfectamente en esta pandemia, pues haya un reparto más justo, más equitativo de lo que cuesta producir y de lo que vale un producto agrícola y lo que el consumidor paga. Por lo tanto, en España creo que hemos sido un ejemplo de sector, cómo hemos hecho las cosas en el COVID. Hay vocaciones de nuevos jóvenes agricultores en España y lo que necesitan es, como decimos aquí en el argot nuestro en castellano, menos enredo y desde luego más viabilidad a estos jóvenes.
Thank you very much. You mentioned an issue which is characterizing all the agricultural sector in some member states, and specifically in the Southern Europe. It's the lack of generational renewal in farming. This is a problem that we saw in Portugal, in Spain, in Italy. I'm from Italy. There are many countries where actually young people are prevented from one reason or another to get into farming. So that's why now I want to hear the voice of Yannis Mais, president of SEJA. This is a problem that we have stressed in many countries. What do you expect with respect of the lack of generational renewal? How do you think that the new Portuguese presidency of the European Council is going to act starting as of January, also to push and to promote farming among young people? What do you think that the new presidency can do, if there is something in their priority?
Well, first of all, let me, from my part, also thank the organizers of this year's EPP Young Farmer Congress for once again bringing together that many young people from across Europe in a debate which is crucial, and it shows a commitment from the political group towards the young farmers generation, or the young generation in farming, a commitment which obviously we hope they will also draw through in the policy making over the coming years. And maybe before I answer your question, Elena, I do want to touch upon COVID as well, because it has been a hard time. We have seen it in our own network as well. And let me express the hope that all of the young farmers who are listening in today had at least an ability over the past months, even though that we were restricted in what we could do and who we could see, but that everybody had the opportunity to keep on talking with each other in your young farmer organizations, to your colleagues, and keep on expressing the problems and challenges that we face, because having an open debate on them will be the number one thing to keep on doing. In particular, obviously, generational renewal is a challenge across Europe. We have 5 times as many farmers who have reached the retirement age than we have farmers who are younger than 35. So it is a challenge, and as you mentioned, the Portuguese government will take over the presidency of the European Union, and so has to deal with the debate of the common agricultural policy that needs to be implemented in 2023. What we hope is that they will take inspiration from the position that the European Parliament has taken. And once again, I would like to thank the European Parliament, including the EPP group, but with many other groups who have taken a firm stand when it comes to generational renewal, by asking that at least 4% of the budget of the first pillar would be used to pay for young farmer specific policies, to pay for generational renewal. And we indeed do believe that budgetary allocation is crucial to make it a success, because we can invent all types of measures that we want. We can try and motivate young people as much as we want. If there is no money on the table, nothing will happen. And obviously, nothing will happen. The same counts on my farm. I can have the dreams that I want. If money is not following on the table, those dreams remain only at night and not during the day. And so it will be crucial to ensure that we tackle this in a different way of working. That means investment support, that means innovation support, that means direct support in terms of a young farmer top-up in the first pillar. There are a number of instruments available, but we have to make sure that there is money in the budget to pay for it. And as you rightfully say, in Portugal, the situation is one of the worst in Europe when it comes to the number of young farmers compared to the rest of the farming population. And so we do express a strong hope that the Portuguese government will realize that problematic status at this moment. Maybe as a final point, something which is also crucially for the future of our sector is innovation. And you have mentioned that this, for the first time, is an online debate. And normally we meet in Brussels and it's nice and cozy all together. I've done quite a number of online meetings over the past year. And what I have seen is dreadful when it comes to the potential for young farmers in their rural areas to connect. Connectivity is crucial if we want to move into a digital Europe, also in rural areas. And therefore, we have to make sure that not only the tools are available, but also the framework. That is broadband, that is investment support, that is making sure that those wonderful innovative projects that we will see later today can be put from best practices to common practices across the European Union.
Thank you very much. Well, indeed, innovation, modernizations are also the principle that have inspired the, the modernization and the new rules on CAP that are currently under negotiations. I would like to address to Mr. Lins, because the Agri Committee has recently endorsed the agreement with the Council on a set of rules to ensure a smooth transition from the current EU farm policy to the new one. Concerning the new CAP, how should it help farmers to recover from the crisis? Because on the top of the previous principle of modernization, we also have a new challenge, how these new rules should really get out of the wood many farmers that are now facing major challenges.
Yeah, thank you very much, Elena, for this question. I think we have to divide it in a short perspective and in a longer one. In the short one is our transitional regulation, what you have mentioned before, and there you can see we have not only agreed on the transitional regulation, but as well on a budget of more than 8 billion from the recovery fund for the rural areas and especially for the agriculture sector in Europe for 2021 and 2022. And when you look in the detail, then you will see that 30% of this recovery money will be available in 2021 and 70% in 2020 and 2022. And 37% of the recovery funding is for the environment, for the climate-related action, and for animal welfare to help, especially the young farmers, to fulfill the objectives of the European Union and the European Commission. And when you look in the detail, at least 55% of the fund will support young farmers, startups, on-farm investments, innovation, what Janus Maas mentioned before, and especially the digital recovery. This was the short perspective. But on the longer perspective, we have to guarantee from the European level a planning security for the farmers as a whole, and especially for the young farmers. So the most important thing we have to guarantee is to proceed as fast as possible with the CAP negotiations, to finalize, to have a final agreement as soon as possible, that the farmers knows the rules about conditionality, the rules for the eco schemes, the new major element of the CAP reforms, that they know the rules, how they are able to get money from the second pillar, and that the member states are in the position to finalize their strategic plans, and that we are ready for the CAP, which will start hopefully on the 1st January of 2023. And then I would mention again, a core element of this CAP reform will be more innovation, more sustainability, more resilient when it comes, or more a CAP will who can contribute more for the to mitigate climate change, and a CAP who will do more for biodiversity. But it's really important that there is a planning security, that there's planning security for the farmers. So I really urge the Council and the Commission that we are able to proceed as soon as possible. And on the other hand, I think we have to rebalance the discussion on the European Union when it comes to the environmental question, to the social question, and to the economic question within the CAP. So there has to be a balance between all of the three elements of the CAP. I have sometimes the impression that we only talk about environmental measures and the measures who can mitigate the climate change. This is important, yeah. But on the other hand, we have to talk as well the importance of social and economic questions when it comes to the common agriculture policy, especially in Portugal, in Spain, in Italy.
And you mentioned, the uncertainty that these situations for the timing also linked to the fact that the MFF is still ongoing, the negotiations, so there is much uncertainty. That's why I wanted to address to Mr. Oliveira Souza. You know very well the current state of play of negotiations of the EU farm policy, but how do this uncertainty over the future affect those farmers who are not necessarily aware what's going on in Brussels? What's the feeling on the ground concerning all this, very vague certainty about future rules?
Well, it is difficult to have a direct answer to that question, because what's going on the negotiations, sometimes things change very quickly. As you see this week, only now we are in conditions to start this last period of negotiations for the new CAP. So I don't know if everybody can go in the details of what's going on those discussions. But there are some big guidelines that arrived in the last year, especially everything around the Green Deal. That's a big innovation for the new CAP, and I think it will be a very challenge for the new generation that we have to interest in these matters. I usually say that for interest, for calling the young people to come to agriculture, it's not the beautiful of the scenery or the love for nature that will attract people to go to the fields. It's the economy. Economy, it's important, and some way of having a stability on the quality of life. Otherwise, the young people will try to find their own life in other sectors. So it is important for the new CAP, as James said, that the money is there to increase the new generations. And the new generations are those who will be able to take the new technologies that are coming more and more available. So I think there are some things that, for example, here in Portugal, we are trying to convince the government to do. We need a better internet system. In the areas that are away from the big cities, the internet fails. It is necessary to have a very good internet everywhere. Without internet, we cannot make the other things that are available today, online markets, etc., access to papers, whatever. Innovation and technology, it's very easy for the young farmers to go deep on those issues. So, and to maintain, to interest people to do that, it's necessary to increase the connection between universities and the new farmers, the young farmers, especially those that are not connected to the land by family reasons. For example, somebody that arrives as a new element in these matters. That's why it's so important to make a contest like this one. For example, today we will have our Minister of Agriculture. She will be the president of the Council of Ministers of Agriculture in the next 6 months. She will be here today with us, launching, announcing the measures for the young farmers in the negotiations that she is going to conduct. We have also here the election, the first prize for the national contest of young farmers. So we start here, and after that we go to Brussels. And it is the minister who will be here to give her support to all this, to these matters. So what can I say? I think if we have money, if we have stability, if we have technology available, and somebody to maintain the contact of knowledgement with the farmers, they will be better farmers in the future. Because one thing is for sure, climate change and all these concerns that the society has around biodiversity, nature protection, how things are done, less pesticides or better use of pesticides. It's not, when we say reducing 50%, it's not a general situation. It's a better application. If we use it with the new technologies, we don't have to reduce the how can I say it in English? Sometimes it's very difficult. But the percentage, the level of the product, it will be the same, but the area will be smaller because you are attacking more specifically with the eyes of a drone, with the possibility to identify things earlier, etc., etc. So new technology, it's very important to come to all these matters.
And we are going to talk about new technologies in the next panel. So I see there is something that, of course, is really driving the attention of farmers. I'm receiving a lot of comments on Zoom of young farmers, which is very interesting. It means that there is an interest, saying, of course, that what they need is, first of all, financial support. That's why I want to address to Mr. Mess, because the new, the rules agreed by the Agri Committee provides, indicate that member states could use 4% of the budget of the direct payments to support young farmers. I would like to hear from you if this percentage is enough and how likely member states are to support young farmers. Do you think, from your experience, that this is an amount of money which is, feasible and likely to encourage young farmers to young people to get involved in farming?
That is indeed the position of the European Parliament at this moment, but obviously we will need both the European Council, so under the lead of the Portuguese presidency, and the European Commission. But okay, Commissioner Wojciechowski has said very clearly that he wants to support young farmers, so I can't see him doing otherwise during the negotiations, but they will have to agree with that. And that is defined as a minimal percentage which needs to be spent on specific policies for generational renewal. If that is indeed the result of the trialogues, we are confident that we can make the difference in the coming years, so in the coming program, but in essence in the coming decade, for attracting a higher number of young farmers to the sector. But it is not only that what needs to happen. Also at national level, member states will really have to look at what they are doing in terms of land policy to make sure that young farmers have an easier access, long-term and affordable access to that land, because that remains one of the core challenges of the young farmers entering and developing in the sector, and that needs to be tackled at national level as well as at EU level. Taxation policy, just the same thing. So governments can and must do more than only agree on a high ambition in the CAP, but we are confident if they already make that step that we can make a difference. Maybe overall one of the most proud choices that policymakers need to make at EU level, at national level, and at local level is make sure that all of that policy that they design is directed to active professional farmers, so that it is not retired farmers who keep on receiving support, so that it is not NGOs who keep on receiving support, so that it is not the big landowners who keep on receiving support. Policies must be directed at active professional farmers.
And Mr. Bato, do you agree with that?
Bueno, yo estoy de acuerdo en el planteamiento general, pero como usted está viendo las preguntas de determinados jóvenes agricultores que nos están haciendo, lo que no se puede hacer es engañar, y lo que no se puede hacer es prometer determinados planteamientos que luego nos llegan. Yo estoy viendo preguntas que nos están haciendo, estoy totalmente de acuerdo con esos jóvenes, en donde la asfixia económica que se tiene por una mala administración de las ayudas. Por lo tanto, yo creo que dinero desde la Unión Europea hay propuestas de la Comisión, hay propuestas del Parlamento, incluso ese 2% se pretende incrementar, que vuelvo a repetirlo, ese 2% es de todos los agricultores europeos, que lo dedicamos a los jóvenes, y yo estoy de acuerdo. Pero más que hablar de situaciones, de cómo lo hacemos o cómo... Yo creo que los Estados miembros tenían que tener un obligado cumplimiento en un periodo de tiempo cierto, porque hay jóvenes agricultores en España que llevan muchos meses y algunos años, en este caso alguna comunidad autónoma, algún año, sin pagar lo que se les debe a esos jóvenes agricultores. Podemos hablar de la gran política, pero yo creo que hay que bajar un poquito abajo para a esos jóvenes que se incorporan, desde luego, no se les puede estar tergiversando la verdad. Eso sí, la clase política, por lo menos los nuestros, se les llena la boca de cuántos jóvenes vamos a incorporar, hemos incorporado, luego si esos jóvenes llevan aparejado otra ayuda, que es todo el tema de lo que hay que hacer en la explotación, eso tampoco llega, y lo que sí llega son los intereses y las amortizaciones del banco. Y el joven se enfada, el joven se cabrea, con perdón, y eso es lo que tenemos que corregir. Y por último, si me permite, desde luego podremos hablar de futuro, de biotecnología, podremos hablar, pero primero hay que hablar de lo más importante. Es que ese joven se sienta seguro con lo que se le ha dicho. Y hasta aquí no está ocurriendo, por lo menos en España.
Thank you very much. Thanks for this interesting discussion. Thanks to our panelists. It was very insightful discussion that brings us to another major topic of this Congress, which is the transition towards sustainable farming. But before moving to the next panel, let's have a short break. See you in 2 minutes. All right, welcome back again. And the video that you have just saw could not be more appropriated to introduce a new, fresh discussion on sustainability and food production. We're going to see in this panel which are the opportunities, but also the challenges for the agricultural sector coming from the farm to fork strategy proposed by the European Commission. I'm sure that all of you know the content of the strategy, but for those who are hearing about it for the first time, just let me briefly remind you that it is the first attempt at European level to design a food policy that proposes measures and targets for each stage of the food chain, from production, distribution, and consumption, in order to make European food systems sustainable. But let's see what is at stake for farmers, industry, and the other stakeholders involved. Let me present you our guests who will provide the view of different positions. I welcome Mr. Herbert Dorfmann, member of Agri Committee and rapporteur of the initiative report on the farm to fork strategy at the European Parliament. Mrs. Geraldine Kutash, Director General at ECPA, European Crop Protection Association. Garlik von Essen, Secretary General at Euroseed, and Pekka Pesonen, Secretary General at Copa Cogeca. I think he's going to join us a bit later because he's currently busy in another important event, but we can start. And I would like to start with Mr. Dorfmann. You have been working on the farm to fork strategy. It is a proposal that requires many actions from the stakeholders involved. How ambitious, is it fairly ambitious, this proposal, according to your experience?
Yeah, good morning to everybody. It's a pleasure to be here with you this morning. Yeah, I'm working on the strategy in these days because within these weeks and the next 1 to 2 days, I will finish my draft report, and so I'm in the middle of the work. It's for sure ambitious. It is not, unfortunately, as you said before, it does not put targets for each step from the farm to the fork, and that is what I'm criticizing in the strategy, because it's putting targets on the agri side, on the farm side, and I think it is the right approach to have a strategy or an idea of a policy which starts with the farm and ends up with the consumer, so with the table of the dish of the consumer. If I read the strategy, I have the impression that it remains very much a farm strategy. Indeed, all the targets set in the strategy are farm targets. There are no fork strategies. And this is a pity, because I think we need to think this value chain, the food chain, also from the consumer side. And it was interesting to see in the introductory video you showed, there was a sentence that people want safe and high quality food. If people want safe and high quality food, it would be good that they go to the supermarket and they buy safe and high quality food and they pay for it. I think this is essential. And we need to think also the food chain from the consumer side. And we need to tell the consumer that he takes decisions, and these decisions influence the whole chain. If the consumer wants organic food, the farmers will produce organic food. If the consumer asks for high quality food, the farmer will engage to produce high quality food. And but the consumer needs to be willing to pay for this and pay the right price. And I think if we achieve this with the strategy, if we achieve an awareness of the consumer, how important his behavior is in the chain, we will get a step forward, because I think the farmers are the first ones to want a sustainable agriculture, and who want a value chain or food chain with a high value, because a higher value of the final product of the food at the end brings a higher value all over the chain.
And let's see which contribution innovation and technology can give to reach sustainability in farming. also the quality of food. We're coming back later also about, how to transfer the burden of this strategy also to consumers. I would like to hear now the voice of your seats. Mr. Van Hessen, you represent the voice of the food sector, and we spoke in the previous panel about the need of innovation for farmers, especially nowadays we realize that it's more needed than ever. The seed sector is very much looking at the precision farming tools as a valid option. What's the potential of new plant breeding techniques and the use of innovative technologies in this transition from traditional farming to new, modern and sustainable farming?
Yes, thank you, Elena, and good morning to everybody. Thank you for having us here on this panel. Maybe we can start like this when we go back to the introductory video where we were looking at the motto, more with less. I think we need to differentiate that a little. We will not do more with less knowledge, with less technology, and with less awareness of the responsibilities of the individual actors across the whole food chain. So I agree very much with MEP Herbert Dorfmann that the farm to fork strategy needs to look at all of these aspects. And I think that's why we, from the plant breeding and seed production side, would say one critical tool to achieve more output with less, and I think the less then needs to be qualified as less environmental harmful impacts rather than less inputs as such. We see precision agriculture also requiring precision seed production, precision plant breeding, so very targeted innovations that respond to individual groups and their quality requirements, their specific consumption habits, and so forth. And we know that plant breeding indeed can deliver on that. We have over the past had average increases of productivity of around about 2% in agriculture, of which much nowadays the assumption is around about 50% are due to genetics, are due to the ability of plants to respond better to our farming practices and to, of course, also the requirements of consumers and also of processors. We expect this share to actually grow in the future as we see reduction targets for other inputs. There's one crucial element in inputs that you cannot replace, and that element is the seed that you put in the ground. Without seed, there is no harvest. So we consider seed to be a crucial element. And therefore, we also feel that innovation in plant breeding, so anything in technology and knowledge that can deliver those innovations faster for farmers and for the agri-food chain is crucial. And that's why we're campaigning very hard to make sure that the European Union doesn't miss that boat, but is rather at the forefront of those looking at ways how to improve the productivity in farming with targeted inputs, with modern adapted varieties that correspond to the targets of the farm to fork strategy. But there we see indeed this importance to replace some of the inputs that we have usually used in the past with better genetics, with more targeted innovations from the plant breeding side.
Thank you very much. Of course, as you said, the seed is the first thing that we need in order to produce a harvest. And let's look at the second stage, and I want to hear from Mrs. Kutash from the crop protection industry. Once that we planted the seed, then we have to make it grow. We know that currently there is a very interesting debate because, the farm to fork strategy sets as a target the reduction of 50% of chemical pesticides. But I know that you have been developing over the years also new kind of pesticides that are more environmentally friendly. Can you tell us more about them and which kind of solution they can represent for sustainability, environment, and also food production?
Thank you very much, Elena, and thanks to the organizer for having us today. It's a real pleasure to participate to this Young Farmer Congress. You're right. There is a debate around crop protection in general, and the farm to fork set a target of reducing by 50% the risk and the use of pesticide. And I think it's important to insist on risk and use, because I think it would make no sense just to look at volumes, but what we want to reduce is the impact. So we want to reduce the risk. We are not against target, and we are very open to discuss reduction target. And in fact, we are really supportive of the direction of travel that the Farm to Fork is giving us. What we want is, we want more details on how we will go to the final destination. And on that aspect, I know that in the previous panel, a lot of people have mentioned the financial support to develop innovation. From our industry perspective, we are much more on what kind of regulatory framework the Commission has in mind to support this innovation. Because something is to develop the innovation, but something is to make it accepted from a legal perspective, and to make sure that this innovation will reach the EU farmers. And the regulatory framework will provide this vehicle to make the innovation available for farmers. Therefore, we are really interested in knowing what kind of innovation the Commission will be supporting. Plant breeding techniques, as was mentioned by Mr. Van Hessen, is obviously one of the tools. Biopesticides is another tool. Digital and precision agriculture is another one. Our industry is really committed to those innovation, and recently we have published commitments for 2030, where we committed to invest 14 billion euros, in fact, in innovation, biopesticide and digital and precision agriculture. But currently, EU farmers have access to fewer tools than farmers in other parts of the world. So how can we ask to EU farmers to do more with less impact if they don't have access to those newest technology? For us, reducing impact doesn't mean reducing the toolbox available for farmers. We need a complementarity of solutions, because whether we like it or not, weeds, disease, and pests will continue, and they are likely to increase with climate change, actually.
Right, and concerning, the new technologies, one of the biggest hurdles seems to be the current also legislation. I would like to address again to Mr. Van Hessen from Euroseed. First, I wanted to ask you about the new plant breeding techniques. I try to make the voice of the consumers. What can you tell us about the safety of the products that are grown with these new techniques? Are they safe?
I think we can very confidently say yes, they are. And we've had just 2 or 3 days ago a publication from the European Food Safety Authority that has looked again at a number of those specific technologies and breeding methods, and has concluded that they do not pose any specific additional risks. So we have the highest food watchdog of the European Union confirming that these technologies are an extension and a precision, and we're talking much about precision agriculture and applying knowledge of what we have done in the past. So what we're actually using, and that is why the tagline of our campaign for those technologies is called Embracing Nature. We are actually working with nature. We are mimicking and we are shortcutting certain developments that are also possible in a natural way. So just by selecting, that's where plant breeding actually started hundreds of years ago, by just selecting from visual observation plants that we would find as specifically suitable. Why? Because they have mutated. They have changed. They're not the same plants that we used 10, 20, 50, 100 years ago. And what we do today, and what we can do today, because of advanced knowledge and technology, is to mimic those processes, target them, and with that, be faster in the development of such more advanced, more targeted plants for different uses in agriculture. So safety, and I think there is general scientific consensus all over the world, is not an issue. What is an issue, as Geraldine put forward, is the question of under what kind of regulatory requirements are such plants available to farmers. If we put very heavy price tags on the development of such products, they will become unaffordable, specifically for smaller and medium-sized farmers, as well as obviously smaller and medium-sized companies in the plant breeding sector. And we have 80 to 90% of those companies in Europe. Europe is a very specific seed and plant breeding sector based really on smaller and medium-sized companies, often actually being developed out of farming companies. So if we want to make sure that also these companies can make use of those technologies, the regulatory environment is crucial.
Thank you very much. Concerning prices, we mentioned before that also the farm to fork strategy should look at reshaping the burden and resharing the burden more fairly among consumers and producers. Mr. Dorfman, I played the role of devil in this discussion. If we put the costs of the new environmental targets to the consumers, I would like to ask you, isn't that the risk that then only rich people can afford organic food and, you know, sustainable food?
Well, this is exactly the risk we need to avoid, because on one side, as I said before, there are consumers in Europe which are able and willing to pay more, but not all of them. We have also in Europe today millions and millions of people who need to look at their pocket once they go to the supermarket. And also these people has the right to get good European food. I don't want a food system in Europe where the upper class gets the fancy, nice food from Europe, and the others, they can eat a chlorinated chicken from the US. This is not a European model. So I think consumers are more and more diverse. There are people who are willing to spend more and they get more for more. So if they are willing to buy organic food, nice, they buy organic food. It will cost a bit more. And on the other side, it's clear that there is also public intervention. There is a public help in order to foster more sustainability. And I would like to remind only one figure. Today, in the average, an organic farm gets 8,700 euros more than a conventional farm from the European agriculture policy. That is a lot of money. So it is now also today we have a common agriculture policy, and it will be enforced in the future because we are going to invest 30% of the whole amount. So this is 20 billion of euros a year in order to foster sustainability. And this will change the scenario.
Thank you very much. How the situation has been developed during the years. Mrs. Kutash, you said that there is a problem of regulation about the introduction of new technologies, in particular regarding as biopesticides, pesticides in general. I would like to ask you if, how long does it take to get a product, pesticides on the market, and if the target set by the farm to fork strategy of reducing the risk and the chemical pesticides by 2030 is a feasible deadline. What the industry thinks about it, and you know, how are you organizing for that?
Sorry. The timing of science is not necessarily the policy timing. And we cannot speed up science. Today, it takes us 11 years to bring a new active substance to the market. So it's an enormous amount of time. And this time is increasing. Why? Because the regulatory requirements are increasing. And we are not complaining for that, you know, because additional regulatory requirements mean that our food is safer. And this is our top priority, to deliver safe food. But we need to know that it takes time. And honestly, today we are already out of the scope of the 2030 farm to fork target because we are at the end of 2020. So any new substance that will start to be developed today will come to the market after the implementation of the farm to fork strategy. Now, we want to make sure that this innovation that will be brought to the market will be accepted, and we need to know what will be the impact on the overall agriculture. So as far as the reduction targets are concerned, as I said, we are open for a discussion, but we want science-based targets. We know that the targets in the farm to fork strategy are political targets. It has been said a number of times. What we need is a scientific target, a science-based target. Why? Because if you take all the targets in the strategy for pesticides, for fertilizers, for set-aside land, for biodiversity purposes, for instance, if you put all those targets together, these have the potential to have a massive impact on farmers, on their production, on their income, on prices for consumers. So we need to know what will be this impact. And we cannot just set a political target because it's nice and it will please constituencies. So we will urge, and we are urging the Commission to provide this cumulative impact assessment to know what will be the impact. And honestly, at our level, we have commissioned this impact assessment to Wageningen University. We have asked them to look at the socioeconomic impact on such cumulative targets, because we want to make sure that we will not simply destroy the agricultural sector. We are talking about an essential sector here. We cannot get it wrong.
Well, but something seems that is changing, because the European Minister of Agriculture has already called for the use of new innovative ingredients and techniques to boost sustainable food production, as long, of course, they are safe for humans, animals, and the environment. Do you think, Mr. Dorfman, that this political will from member states will be sufficient to overcome all the hurdles that nowadays the industry is facing concerning new technologies?
Well, I think the farm to fork strategy is a strategy. It is not law. It is not a regulation. It's not a directive. And in the report I'm writing in these days, I clearly say that we need an impact assessment, and I agree fully with Geraldine that we need to look what is the result of a political, or what can bring a political decisions. Well, from the member states, I think there's quite an openness to innovation, and I think we need also to use this my report in the European Parliament to test the political will in the member states and in the European Parliament for new technologies. So I will write it on my draft that, for example, new breeding techniques, as Gali von Essen said before, they are an opportunity to take a step forward. And then we will see what happens in the parliament if there is a majority for that. So I think the strategy serves also, it can be useful also to test the political will. And I'm fully convinced that we need this strategy makes only sense if it brings us a step forward. There's sometimes this bucolic view of agriculture that everything was nice in the past, so we can go back to the past and the world becomes more sustainable. This is not true. We will become more sustainable only if we go a step forward with new, with innovation in chemistry, with innovation in technology, in application technology, for example, with innovation coming from artificial intelligence, from satellites, and so on and so forth. And I think we need to go this path in agriculture and also in other sectors of our economy.
Well, thank you very much to our panelists. It was a very interesting discussion. Mr. Pesonen from Copa-Cogeca unfortunately couldn't participate because he's still busy in another event. So I'm afraid that this time he couldn't join. Our time, unfortunately, has finished for the moment because we have other things and other events happening along this Congress. That's why we have to move on, so stay with us. And now let me show you finally the 15 projects that are running for the prize awarded by this Congress. They are all innovative and represent the talent of a new generation of farmers who are combining the farming activity with sustainability. In a time where climate change is threatening agriculture and our livelihood, I'm very pleased to see so many farmers working on solutions that are beneficial for everyone and works for us. This year, the projects are competing in 3 prize categories. First, digital. Second, environmentally sustainable. And third, food champion in farming. How does it work? After the preliminary examination, the jury of the European Young Farmers Prize 2020 has distributed the projects equally among the different prize categories. Let's start then with the projects competing for the first prize category. Digital champion in farming for adoption and dissemination of new technologies and innovative farming practice. Let's go to Finland, where Samuel Jussila will guide us through his zero waste farm. He uses technology and efficient planning methods to make his harvest as eco-friendly as possible. He is a multitasking farmer who lives and breathes agriculture, he says. Finnish MEP Petri Sarvamaa would like to introduce and support this young talent from his country.
Hello. In the Young Farmers competition, I'm extremely proud to support Finland's great young talent, Samuel Jussila. He's an excellent example of the importance of new generation in the European agriculture. Samuel is constantly innovating new things and finding best practices to be more sustainable and productive at the same time. Young farmers are fundamental in developing European agriculture. People like Samuel, who put their heart and soul to their work, can lead by example. The future of farming is in the hands of these young farmers. They have the drive and dedication to develop the agriculture sector in a way that provides safe, sustainable, and high-quality food for the European consumers now and in the future. So I'm looking forward to the 6th edition of the conference and keeping my fingers crossed for Samuel. Now, enjoy Samuel's presentation.
My name is Samuel Jussila, and I'm 38 years old, a Finnish farmer. I have been farming since 2003. My farm has about 160 hectares arable, and I'm farming all the spring and winter cereals, caraway, beans, peas, and hay seeds. And I also testing every year something new, like next year there will be oil hemp growing in my fields. On my farm, everything starts from strict farm management. The operating model has been taken from the business world, and everything you can measure is measured because what you can measure can also be improved. I try to use the latest technology at my farm, and this way the economy of farming is improved while preserving the environment. For example, I've been using no-till drilling in my farm for over 16 years, and my grain dryer works with bioenergy. I'm also working as an agricultural consultant and advise all kinds of farmers. I also work closely together with different companies in the field of pesticides, machinery, seeds and fertilizers. In this context, my farm operates as a training ground where everything new and experimental is tested. I basically live and breathe agriculture, giving it my best. And I try to be best possible farmer and advisor and a good example for other farmers as well.
When Baba Radu, farmer and butcher, came back to Romania, he received support from the Aberden Angus Romanian Association, which provides solutions to cut down bureaucracy and helps farmers to reach breed efficiency for their animals. Romanian MEP Daniel Buda wants to say some few words to support this project that represent the cutting edge of sustainable farming.
Dear friends, I am pleased that we have the opportunity to meet this year. The EPP and the Liberal National Party from Romania have always been with young farmers who were at the beginning of the road. Without you, agriculture has no future. You are the ones who will provide food for tomorrow's generation. The Liberal government in Romania provides young farmers with 50 hectares of land from the state's reserves to start the activity. The provisions of the new CIP also support young farmers. In the following, I urge you to meet one of the best experts in Romanian regarding the management of beef cattle farms. The efficiency of the activities in farms requires an efficient management. The project that will be presented is the key to the success of sustainable agriculture. Thank you.
Numele meu este Baba Radu, am 30 de ani, sunt din Gura Râului, județ Sibiu. Am lucrat în străinătate pentru o perioadă scurtă de timp, am revenit în țară. În urmă cu 3 ani de zile am achiziționat 10 Angus și un taur. Am fost motivat de afacerea mică pe care o am acasă și de ajutorul acordat de echipa tânără de la Asociația Amber din Angus, România. Avem nevoie în continuare de sprijinul dumneavoastră pentru o dezvoltare continuă și durabilă, pentru a da plus valoare produselor europene proaspete. Sfătuiesc tinerii să se întoarcă în satele românești, în natură, pentru că avem un potențial foarte mare care trebuie valorificat.
The project presented from Wouter Bruin, a young farmer from the Netherlands, prevents animal suffering. In poultry farming, sadly, many roosted chicks are slaughtered right after they're born. In order to stop this, Innovo proposes an innovative solution. MEP Annie Schreier-Pierik, who is the ambassador for the Netherlands, is supporting this project. Have a look.
Hi. We kill 6 billion chicks in the worldwide poultry industry. Why? These chicks are male. They don't lay eggs, so they're useless in egg production. They get genotyped by hand. The females are sold, but the males are either shredded or suffocated. This is a huge problem that Innovo is fixing. We have developed a machine that's capable of genotyping the egg instead of the chick. Thereby, it can prevent the killing of chicks, which is better for animal welfare and efficiency. Now, I started this when I was 26 years old, and now 9 years later, as we speak during this conference, we are genotyping eggs so that we stop the killing of chicks. And I'm truly honored to be able to represent my country, the Netherlands, thanks to Ms. Schreier-Pierik. We are on a mission to make sure that you as a consumer can buy these eggs without chick culling. And I'd like to wish success to all the other contestants of this conference. Let's make Europe even more sustainable together. Thank you very much.
Acting on time is key to have a good harvest. Martinas Puikodas, a young Lithuanian farmer, knows very well, and that's why he has opted for a no-till farming solution. It enriches soil biodiversity and also reduces pollution. The results of this decision didn't last to arrive, and he is now a point of reference for many other farmers in his region. Before showing his project, MEP Rasa Juknevičene has something to tell us about Lithuanian agricultural sector.
Hello, my name is Rasa Juknevičene. I am a member of European Parliament from Lithuania, the country with beautiful nature, forests and meadows. I invite you to visit my native country, which celebrates the 30th anniversary of independence from the Soviet regime. In 3 decades of independence, we have made a huge progress in our social and economic spheres, agricultural as well. Lithuania has always been and is a country in which long-standing traditions of agriculture have been valued since ancient times. The agricultural sector still plays a very important economic, social, environmental, and ethnocultural role in Lithuania. But it is changing and getting more innovative, progressive, and effective. The EU support for investments in agriculture made a big impact on its productivity, competitiveness, and efficiency. However, we face new challenges now to be productive, competitive, efficient, and nature-friendly at the same time. Our farmers understand how agriculture sectors interact with nature and ecosystem. Sharing sustainable farming practices can make a big impact on the caring environment and stop the climate change. For the EPP 6th Young Farmers Congress, we present young farmer Martinas Puidokas, who uses innovative and sustainable farming methods. He always shares his experience with other people in the social network groups, communicates directly with farming communities that are interested in sustainable farming. But let him to present his project. We wish Martinas good luck in the competition and good crop in his farm.
Mano vardas Martynas, esu baigęs Lietuvos žemės ūkio universiteto magistro studijas inžinerijos kryptimi. Mano ūkis yra augalininkystės tipo. Žemės ūkis nuolatos susiduria su įvairiais iššūkiais. Norint šiuos iššūkius išspręsti, reikia imtis netradicinių būdų. Mano pasirinktas būdas yra kompleksinis, tai tiesioginė sėja į nedirbtą žemę, tiesiai į ražienas ir kintamos normos tręšimas. Kadangi pas mus Lietuvoje sėjos laikas yra gan trumpas ir norint pasėti optimaliu laiku, reikia stengtis tai padaryti kuo greičiau, tad tiesioginė sėja čia labai pasitarnauja. Taip pat dėka tiesioginės sėjos yra sumažinami kaštai sėjos darbams, o taip pat tiesioginė sėja pasižymi ir mažesniais kaštais energijos poreikiui, kas taipogi reiškia ir mažesnius šilumos efektą sukeliančių dujų išmetimus į atmosferą. Vien tiesioginės sėjos man neužteko, tad pradėjau domėtis ir tarpinių pasėlių auginimu. Parinkus tinkamą tarpinį pasėlių mišinį, pastebėjau, kad mano laukai, lyginant su kaimynų laukais, kenčia daug mažiau nuo vėjo, nuo kritulių erozijos. Sausuoju laikotarpiu yra apsaugoma nuo dirvos išdžiūvimo, o kuomet yra pertekliniai kritulių kiekiai, šie krituliai įsigeria į gilesnius dirvos sluoksnius. Dirva darosi sveikesnė, daugėja dirvos faunos, taipogi grybų, kurie skaido augalams maisto medžiagas į labiau priimtinas. Šaknų sistema iš gilesnių dirvos sluoksnių sukelia į paviršinius išplautas maisto medžiagas. Na, o siekiant ūkyje efektyviau panaudoti mineralinės trąšas, buvo atlikti dirvos tyrimai, pagal kuriuos vėliau sudaryti dirvos žemėlapiai. Pagal šios žemėlapius trąšos išberiamos kintama norma. Na, o azoto panaudojimui buvo priimtas sprendimas naudotis azoto davikliais, kurie padeda taipogi taupyti ir tiksliau paskleisti trąšas būtent ten, kur jų reikia. Augalui pasisavinus visas azoto trąšas sumažėja tikimybė, jog azotas bus išplautas į paviršinius vandens telkinius. Nusprendžiau visą savo vykdomą veiklą dalintis socialiniuose tinkluose. Atsirado bendraminčių. Žingsnis po žingsnio susibūrė toks kaip ir klubas, forumas bendraminčių. Šiuo metu mes ne tik kad dalinamės, bet ir vykstame vieni pas kitus į svečius, organizuojame tokias kaip ir lauko dienas ir dalinamės savo patirtimi. Džiaugiuosi pasirinktą savo veiklą ir kryptimi ir tikiu, kad ateityje paliksiu derlingą, gyvybingą žemę savo vaikams.
Let's now move to the second prize category, Environmentally Sustainable Champion in Farming. This category seeks the adoption and application of environmental and climate-related practices on the farm that are beneficial to biodiversity and ecosystem preservation. Let's have a look together at the projects competing in this category. Let's move to Belgium, where Sven Nofkes shows us his environmental-friendly strawberry field he has created 8 years ago. His key word is recycling. Nothing in his farm is wasted, from the rainwater to the packages used to sell the fruit. MEP Chris Peters wants to say a few words to give his support to this project.
Dear members of the Congress, it's for me a great pleasure and honor to have the occasion to say some words to you. My name is Chris Peters, member of the European Parliament for the moment, and a long time ago I was also Minister of Agriculture in Flanders. Now, you know Belgium, Flanders, and Belgium is a very small country, but very populated. That means that we have not so many farmland, and that means that agriculture is very intense, and when you are a farmer, you must be very professional. And that is the reason why I support for more than 100% the candidacy of Sven Neufkens, because he is the farmer of the future. He knows that you must be very careful with, for example, pesticides, and that, of course, you must be very, very professional. And that's the reason why I support the candidacy of Sven Neufkens, because he has all these elements every day in practice. Now, dear Congress, I invite you to discover his project and his program, and good luck to you all.
Hello, my name is Sven Neufkens, 28 years old and owner and founder of Svelin Strawberries and Food Box at Work. After my college in 2012, I started my own farm. That wasn't easy because my parents aren't farmers. In 2012, we started with 1,000 strawberry plants. Do you want to see the result after 8 years hard working? Let's go! We are here in our greenhouse that we built in 2017. It's 5,000 square meter large, and we cultivate every year 60 tons of delicious strawberries. We cultivate the strawberries environment friendly, so we don't heat our greenhouse. We keep the greenhouse warm only by the sun. This sun we use also for making our electricity. We work with 100% green power. When it's rain, we collect this rainwater. So we use only rainwater for our plants. We don't associate it with a corporation. We sell our strawberries by ourselves. Do you want to see how? Let's go! New of this year, we don't use plastic packaging anymore. We change our packaging in cardboard, 100% recycled and good for the environment. 10% of our strawberries are made for Food Box at Work. So we make fruit baskets with delicious strawberries. The other 90% of our strawberries we sell by these strawberry vending machines. We have 10 of these machines in our company. In every village around our farm, we put one of these machines, so we can reach a lot of customers for our strawberries. Working with a vending machine has a lot of advantage. The vending machine is cooled, so the quality of our strawberries stays good. Every day, we fill these machines with our delicious strawberries. The customer can buy 24 hours a day our strawberries, 7 on 7. The customer can pay our strawberries by coins or notes. How does it work? We put the coins in our machine. Open the gate, and we have our delicious strawberries. And after we buy, we can taste our delicious strawberries.
He started producing eggs, and he ended up by creating a wide range of organic products, including a high-protein drink for athletes. Pavlos Tsakiris was awarded as the best Greek young farmer in 2019, and his farm has embraced the concept of circular economy. Everything is reused in the production process. MEP Manolis Kefalogiannis is supporting this project. Let's have a look together.
ο Παύλος Τσακίρης, γεννήθηκα και μεγάλωσα στην Οχορούδα, ένα μικρό χωριό στο περίχωρο της Θεσσαλονίκης. Η οικογένειά μου ασχολείται με την καλλιέργεια σιτηρών και παραγωγή αυγών από το 1963. Το 2004 και μετά την ολοκλήρωση των σπουδών μου στη βιομηχανική πληροφορική, πλαισίωσα με την είσοδό μου την οικογενειακή επιχείρηση ως εκπρόσωπος της τρίτης γενιάς της. Στόχος μου ήταν η δημιουργία υπεραξίας μέσω της παραγωγής τροφίμων ανώτερης διατροφικής αξίας. Ξεκίνησα λοιπόν δημιουργώντας την πρώτη μου φάρμα βιολογικής γεωργίας και σήμερα, μερικά χρόνια μετά, η συνολική δυναμικότητα των μονάδων μου είναι 25.000 όρνηθες αγροπαραγωγής. Με δεδομένο ότι για το πλήρη έλεγχο της ποιότητας απαιτείται καθετοποίηση των διαδικασιών, προχώρησα στο επόμενο κύριο βήμα, τη βιολογική παραγωγή σιταριού, λούπινου και μπιζελιού σε μια έκταση 60 εκταρίων στη Μακεδονία. Παράλληλα με τα σιτηρά, καινοτομούμε, χρησιμοποιώντας το καρπό των σιτηρών σε πλήρως ελεγχόμενες συνθήκες και με τη χρήση μόνο νερού παράγουμε το φύτρο, μια ζωοτροφή υψηλής διατροφικής αξίας. Η συνολική ετήσια παραγωγή της φάρμας φτάνει στα 7,5 εκατομμύρια αυγά. Ένα μέγεθος, η δυναμική του οποίου είναι ανάλογη της ευθύνης απέναντι στον καταναλωτή. Σε ένα κλάδο όπως είναι το τρόφιμο και ειδικά σε ένα αντικείμενο όπως είναι το αυγό, το συνεπές και υψηλό επίπεδο ποιότητας είναι βασική και αδιαπραγμάτευτη αρχή, από το πρώτο μέχρι και το τελευταίο αυγό. Το μεγαλύτερο μέρος της παραγωγής των αυγών μας μεταφέρεται στο συσκευαστήριο της εταιρείας. Εκεί, αφού τα αυγά περάσουν από εντελεχή έλεγχο και οσκόπηση, ταξινομούνται ανάλογα με το βάρος τους και συσκευάζονται σε χάρτινες συσκευασίες. Στη συνέχεια, ως τελικό πια προϊόν, μπαίνουν στο αυτόνομο σύστημα logistics και παραδίδονται με τα οχήματα της εταιρείας εντός 24 ωρών σε όλα τα εγχώρια σημεία πώλησης, ενώ 1 στα 4 αυγά εξάγεται σε γειτονικές χώρες. Το υπόλοιπο κομμάτι της παραγωγής μεταφέρεται στο υπερσύγχρονο παστεριωτήριο αυγών που εγκαινιάστηκε μόλις το 2017. Εδώ διαχωρίζεται το ασπράδι από το κρόκο και αφού το προϊόν περάσει από θερμική επεξεργασία, συσκευάζεται και αποθηκεύεται σε ασκούς. Αποτέλεσμα αυτής της διαδικασίας είναι η ανάπτυξη και δημιουργία νέων καινοτόμων προϊόντων, όπως το Ready to Drink τρόφιμα, το οποίο θα παρουσιαστεί εντός της χρονιάς με βάση το βιολογικό ασπράδι αυγού σε διάφορες γεύσεις. Στόχος, η προσέγγιση αθλητών κενών που γυμνάζονται, καθώς κάθε μπουκαλάκι θα περιέχει 28 γραμμάρια καθαρής πρωτεΐνης. Καινοτομία όμως σημαίνει και ένταξη πρακτικών κυκλικής οικονομίας στη διαδικασία παραγωγής. Μία από αυτές είναι και η αξιοποίηση των πλούσιων σε μεθάνια αποβλήτων για την παραγωγή βιοαερίου. Μέσω ζύμωσης, το αέριο αποδεσμεύεται και χρησιμοποιείται ως καύσιμο για την παραγωγή ηλεκτρικής ενέργειας. Επιπλέον, το ξερό υπόλοιμα της ζύμωσης αξιοποιείται ως εθαφοβελτιωτικό λίπασμα, όντας πλούσιο σε άζωτο και ιχνοστοιχεία. Φυσικά, καμία καινοτομία δεν είναι εφικτή χωρίς την ουσιαστική επένδυση στην έρευνα και ανάπτυξη. Το αρμόδιο τμήμα, έχοντας άξιους συμπαραστάτες φοιτητές αλλά και έμπειρους καθηγητές του Αριστοτελείου Πανεπιστημίου Θεσσαλονίκης, συμμετέχει σε ερευνητικά προγράμματα. Βασικός στόχος είναι τόσο η δημιουργία καινοτόμων προϊόντων, όσο και η ένταξη διατροφή πουλερικών ενός ευρύτερου κομματιού του φυσικού πλούτου της εγχώριας χλωρίδας, όπως η ελιά και το φασκόμηλο. Σε αισιοδοξία μας για τις καλύτερες μέρες που έρχονται και σε συνδυασμό με ένα σταθερό οικονομικό και πολιτικό περιβάλλον, αναμένουμε η υπεραξία που μας δίνει η ελληνική γη να αποτελέσει μοχλό ανάπτυξης για τη χώρα και τις επόμενες γενιές.
Now I bring you to Portugal, where Gonçalo Assis Lopes is growing strawberries using a particular system that allows to save up to 80% of water comparing to traditional farming. His strawberries are the proof that new technologies are crucial to pursue sustainability goals. Mr. Nuno Melo is happy to give us a short presentation of this project.
O futuro da agricultura europeia está nas mãos dos jovens agricultores. Apoiar a próxima geração de agricultores europeus não só reforçará a competitividade futura da agricultura da União Europeia, como contribuirá para garantir o abastecimento alimentar do nosso espaço comum ao longo dos próximos anos. A autonomia alimentar continua a ser um dos maiores sucessos deste projeto comum, mas quem contra, devemos ter disso consciência, no progressivo envelhecimento que se dedica ao setor, um risco infelizmente muito real. O conhecimento e a inovação são essenciais para que a agricultura cresça de forma inteligente, resiliente e sustentável. E a futura PAC incentivará um maior investimento na investigação e na inovação e permitirá aos agricultores e às comunidades rurais beneficiar dos seus resultados. Com a organização do Congresso, pretendemos basicamente valorizar aqueles que serão o futuro do setor agrícola europeu, que é estratégico, mas também mostrar à Europa qual o rumo a seguir. E o rumo tem de ser este: mais jovens, melhor agricultura, melhores práticas. Como referi anteriormente, este ano teremos 15 projetos a concurso. E como não poderia deixar de ser, cabe-me apresentar com muito orgulho, devo sublinhar o projeto do meu país, o projeto de Portugal. O projeto do Gonçalo Assis Lopes, de produção de morangos em estufa de hidroponia, é um excelente exemplo do que hoje em dia se faz de melhor em Portugal e na Europa. No caso, falo da produção de morangos de altíssima qualidade, do aumento de rentabilidade por área com uso racional de recursos naturais como a energia e a água e o uso de tecnologias de ponta. Tudo isto são mais do que razões suficientes para ficarem desse lado. Descubram então comigo o projeto do Gonçalo.
Sou Gonçalo Assis Lopes, produtor de morango semi-hidropónico na região de Ribamar, oeste de Portugal. Este projeto consiste numa estufa com 1 hectare, contendo 300 mil plantas, num investimento que ronda 1,5 milhão de euros. A agricultura é um meu projeto de vida. A escolha do morango tem a ver com a tradição que já existe nesta região a nível de produção, para além de ser um fruto que já tem muita permanência nos hábitos alimentares. A Seaberry assenta sobre 3 princípios fundamentais: a viabilidade financeira, a sustentabilidade e o recurso às últimas tecnologias. Este sistema semi-hidropónico consiste na plantação num substrato de pellets e fibra de coco, sendo injetado uma solução de nutrientes, o que nos permite uma poupança de cerca de 70% a 80% de água comparado com a agricultura tradicional. Esta solução é recalibrada, reinjetada e com esta poupança conseguimos obter um caráter vincadamente consciente a nível ambiental. Atualmente a Seaberry já emprega 18 pessoas, numa produção constante anual, esperando atingir cerca de 165 toneladas no ano. A agricultura hoje incorpora muita tecnologia e inovação e os jovens do setor já produzem essa agricultura do futuro com base na tecnologia e na sustentabilidade. O nosso objetivo é produzir morango de alta qualidade.
Can farming contribute also to social inclusion? Yes. This is the story of our participant from Czech Republic, Stanislav, who is producing bioproducts from lavender. His activities encourage the employment of disabled people while also creating mutual trust in the local community. I leave the floor to MEP Michaela Shvedrova. She's very proud to introduce and support Stanislav's project.
Dear young farmers and dear participants of Congress, I am a member of the Agriculture Committee and I am a landscape architect by education. In the committee, we are looking for solving climate problems, prevent crises, and provide healthy food for all European citizens. Actually, I have learned more in practice by visiting and working with Czech farmers than in the European Parliament. Czech agriculture is in desperate need of new young farmers who can continue the tradition of family farming. Our political challenge is to support these young people and to stop oligarchs drawing a large amount of the financial support of our common budget. I am proud to introduce to you young Czech farmers Mr. Stanislav Biza. He gave up on well-functioning business outside of agriculture and decided to return to the tradition of his grandfather. I welcome you to discover his successful project.
Jmenuji se Staňa a dlouhou dobu jsem se intenzivně věnoval závodění na handbajku. Zhruba před 4 lety jsem se rozhodoval, zdali u toho zůstat, nebo se plně věnovat něčemu jinému. Nakonec jsem se rozhodl začít farmařit a založil jsem rodinnou levandulovou farmu Lavandia ve Starovičkách na Jižní Moravě. K farmaření a práci na poli jsem měl vždycky hodně blízký vztah, protože jsem už jako malý kluk s dědou jezdil na traktoru ve Vinohradu a tahle vzpomínka je moje vnitřní inspirace a hnací motor pro to, čemu a hlavně jak se tu práci u nás na naší farmě věnujeme. Když se ohlédnu zpět, vidím za námi spoustu udělané práce. Kilometry látek, tisíce kilometrů nití, stovky kil zpracované kávy. Je to někdy velká dřina, ale zájem o farmu a produkty nás žene pořád dopředu. Naši levanduly se na Jižní Moravě daří. Zdejší klima jí totiž moc svědčí. Z bylinky vytváříme nevšední a lokální produkty s biocertifikací, které na českém trhu chybí. Naše aktivity jsou spojené se zaměstnáváním osob se zdravotním postižením. Jsme v souladu s přírodou, fungujeme jako lokální producent a jako rodinná farma. Sdílíme naše zkušenosti s ostatními lokálními farmáři a výrobci. Jsme součástí komunity, která vytváří přirozený a udržitelný způsob pěstitelství a výroby produktů. Náš cíl je pokračovat ve všem, co děláme a jak to děláme, vymýšlet nové nápady, dělat radost lidem i přírodě, být dobrou českou značkou, kterou podporujeme v jejím úspěchu na českém trhu i v jejím potenciálu podívat se do světa.
In Hungary, a young couple has embodied the generational renewal of their family-run farm. Thanks to the use of soil analysis and machineries, Kostiel Etelka and her husband have turned poor conditioned and neglected wine territories into prosperous vineyards. The environmental awareness of young farmers is crucial for them, and this is also the message that Hungarian MEP Balázs Itveki wants to send to everyone. Let's have a look.
The future of European agriculture really depends on our young farmers. It will be up to them to maintain this sector strong and successful. Today I've brought you a very good example from Hungary that shows how the experience and knowledge of each generation can be converted into strength and success. It is vital that we show young people that they can be successful in agriculture in Europe. That's why I welcome very much this opportunity, this EPP initiative that brings together young farmers, best examples from all across Europe, provides visibility and an opportunity for exchange. I wish the best work and best success for this meeting.
Kostiel Etelka vagyok, családi gazdálkodó, 2 kisgyermek édesanyja. Külföldön, Párizsban, a Sorbonon szereztem mesterdiplomát. 2012-ben mind a ketten hazaköltöztünk Magyarországra. Családunk tradicionálisan mezőgazdasággal foglalkozik. Alapvetően a 4 unoka és az ő házastársaik irányítják jelenleg a gazdaságot, tehát nálunk megvalósult a generációváltás. Jelenleg 600 hektár szántóterületen gazdálkodunk integráltan, valamint van 40 hektár kertészeti szőlészeti kultúránk is. A talajvizsgálati terveket és a talajvédelmi terveket elemezve, valamint a gépekből kinyert adatokkal együtt biztosítjuk a gazdaságunknak az effektív, költséghatékony működését. 2014-ben vásároltuk az első hektár szőlőterületünket, azóta folyamatosan bővültünk. Rossz állapotú, elhanyagolt szőlőterületeket vettük, majd azokat újra telepítve korszerű, középmagas kordonos művelésre állítottuk be, amely immáron alkalmas a teljes gépesítettségre. Nagyon fontosnak tartjuk a környezettudatosságot, például a szőlőnél a metszés után venyigezúzást alkalmazunk, és ezzel óvjuk a környezetünket. Az integrált gazdálkodást úgy valósítjuk meg, hogy a konvencionális növényvédelmet ötvözzük a mechanikus növényvédelemmel. Nagyon fontos számomra a közösségépítés, aktívan szervezem a Magosz ifjú gazdatagozatának Tolna megyei alapszervezetét. Egy jó közösségben nagyon fontos a kommunikáció, megosztjuk egymással az információt, naprakészek vagyunk, segítjük egymást a gazdálkodásban. Az integrációnak a következő lépcsője egy közösségi szőlőfeldolgozó üzem létrehozása lenne. Fontosnak tartom a fiatalok edukációját, a pazarlás visszaszorítását, mind az inputanyagok, mind pedig a késztermékek vonatkozásában. Mindenkinek kicsiben, nagyban, a saját szintjén kell tennie azért, hogy kialakítsunk egy fenntartható vidéki életformát magunknak és a minket követő nemzedékeknek.
And the last prize category, Food Champion in Farming, attracted most projects this year, 6 altogether. This category is devoted to bringing food products to the market and applying innovative entrepreneurial ideas in one or more steps of the food supply chain: production, processing, packaging, distribution, consumption, and disposing of food. Let's see the food innovations brought by young farmers this year. If you're looking for a shot of vitamins and minerals, then you won't be upset by the project set up by our participant from Austria, Stefan Adner. His company produces organic juices that can be drunk literally everywhere and at any time. Austrian MEP Alexander Berhuber, being a farmer himself, wants to wish him a good luck first. Have a look.
Dear participants of the 6th European Congress of Young Farmers, me, myself, as a young farmer, it is my great pleasure to support the European Young Farmers Congress in a very special way this time. Due to the tireless commitments of our farmers, European citizens are daily supplied with high-quality, regional and healthy food. Not only in time of crisis, such as the current situation, it is essential that we flavor our European farmers, especially the young generation who follow an innovative and sustainable approach. European young farmers create perspectives for rural areas, provide food security through European agriculture. They take environmentally friendly measures in order to protect the climate and preserve biodiversity. The European Young Farmer Congress ensures that policymakers cheers these achievements with recognitions. Furthermore, fingers crossed for all the great participations from all European countries, and especially recommend our Austrian representative and a good friend of mine, Stefan Adner, with a very great project, wheatgrass, which I can really recommend to you. All the best from Austria and have a nice event.
Ich bin der Typ, dass mir eigentlich das reizt, was Neues zu schaffen, und mir gefällt das auch. Ich bleibe auch sicher nicht stehen. Ich produziere biologische Säfte eigentlich, unter anderem auch Weizen- und Gerstengras in biologischer Form. Das ist sehr reich an Vitaminen und Mineralstoffen. Da bewegt sich was, da ist wirklich was drinnen. Der Knackpunkt bei dem Ganzen war die Ernte vom Weizen- und Gerstengras, weil das muss sehr schonend geerntet werden. Da habe ich mich dazu entschieden, das mit einer eigenen Maschine zu ernten, die das Weizengras im Luftbett erntet, und dadurch erreichen wir, dass keine Bruchstellen sind und dass wirklich sauber geerntet wird. Nach dem Ernten ist ganz wichtig, schnell zu sein, und wir haben da innerhalb von 2 Stunden wirklich unsere Säfte dann verarbeitet. Das macht auch die Qualität dann. Bei den Shots ist es einfach so, die trinkt man pur. Die kann man wirklich mitnehmen, und bei den Eiswürfeln, die gibt man in ein Glas Wasser, lässt es auftauen oder zu einem Smoothie dazu und kannst dann so trinken. Wenn du herausfinden möchtest, was österreichische Superfoods wirklich drauf haben, schau auf unsere Webseite. Ich würde mich freuen.
For someone, hemp is the plant of future. His versatile use has encouraged our 30-year-old participant from Croatia, Zvonimir Kalic, to start a business that produces industrial hemp. He has been nominated as the best young Croatian farmer in 2018. And for him, this is more than a business. It's a family adventure. In her introduction, Croatian MEP Sunčana Glavak would like to stress the importance of agriculture in her country. Let's have a look.
Agriculture is the foundation of our European and Croatian economy. It entails hard work and a lot of sacrifices, but it contributes to our food safety and health in an indispensable way. The numbers and share of young farmers in the Republic of Croatia grow yearly. We count around 23,000 younger farmers, which makes 30% of all farmers registered in Croatia. Croatian share of young farmers is 2 times higher than the level of the European Union. The key lies in empowering millions of small producers who form the backbone of rural areas. The Croatian government is trying to motivate young people to return and stay in rural areas and engage in agriculture through various measures. In addition to new energy and new knowledge, young people also bring a fresh perspective of new waves of agriculture productions. The European Union encourages us with an enormous number of opportunities to further up our farming. Investments in agriculture, and particularly in young farmers, are the best weapons against hunger and poverty, and they can make life better for millions of people. Farming is not only a job, it's a way of life. We must all honor the hard work of farmers across the world. I invite you to join me in introducing Croatia's best young farmer, Mr. Zvonimir Kalić.
Kako sam postao poljoprivrednik? Dijete sam sa sela, rastao, odgajan tako i zaželio zapravo živjeti dalje na selu. Razlog proizvodnje je bila djedova bolest i bio je prekretnica da mi zasijemo nešto novo u poljoprivredi, a to je industrijska konoplja. Danas se plasira u prehrambene svrhe, danas se može naći u građevinskoj industriji, tekstilnoj industriji, biljka koja je biljka budućnosti. Moja obitelj je baza ovog OPG-a, mama Zvijezdana, tata Zdravko, teta Jasna i moja malenkost. Nije lako, ali se može.
In the beautiful region of South Tyrol in Italy, two good friends, Joseph and Andreas, are flooding the tables of restaurants and caterings with their delicious organic mushrooms. They are a real delicatessen cultivated on wood. MEP Herbert Dorfmann, who is one of our hosting MEPs, is very proud to see how these two young men have managed to create such a good product in a region where mountains make farming very difficult.
Dear friends, we are living in challenging times. More than ever, farming is important. More than ever, food is important. And more than ever, food security is important. That I think these months of COVID learned us how important these things are for our society. We can live without computers, we can live without cars, but we can't live without food. And therefore we need innovation, we need young people on our farm. And I think our Congress, the Congress of the Young Farmers in the EPP, is all about this. And I'm very proud that two young guys from my region are here today to present their project, a project that has been selected among a lot of young farmers in my region. It has been the best one, and now it's here. And I think it's a good example how innovation can work even in a situation in a region where agriculture is difficult because there are a lot of mountains and where earning money with farms and on farms is not that easy. So please enjoy this innovation and this good idea this young guys have.
Ich bin Dr. Josef, bin 28 Jahre alt, bin von Beruf Landwirt. Ich produziere unter anderem Kersten, Schwarzbrot und Ferkel von Südtiroler Bauernspeckprogramm.
Und mein Name ist Kaiser Andreas, bin auch 28 und bewirtschafte gemeinsam mit meinen Eltern in Kofelhof, wo wir Obst- und Weinbau betreiben und der Nuller auf dem Bauernhof.
Vor 2,5 Jahren haben Andreas und ich noch ein zweites Standbein gemacht. Wir produzieren die ersten biologischen Edelpilze für Südtirol.
Wir züchten Kräuterseitlinge und Shiitake-Pilze und die sind nicht nur nahrhaft, gesund und geschmackvoll, sondern dadurch, dass wir sie biologisch umbauen, auch frei von jeglichen Schadstoffen aus der Luft oder Rückstände von Düngemitteln oder Pflanzenschutzmitteln.
Besonders geschmackvoll sind unsere Pilze, da wir es auf Holz produzieren und auf Stroh und auch, dass wir es auf 1200 Meter produzieren.
Unsere frischen Pilze und Pilzprodukte verkaufen wir über Bioläden und Feinkostläden und die Südtiroler Gastronomie beliefern wir hauptsächlich über Gastronomiezulieferer.
Uns freut es besonders, dass wir mehr mit Betrieben in unserer näheren Umgebung arbeiten, so wie zum Beispiel in der Tobias, der auf der Schutzhütte in Oberholz am Rücken kocht. Jetzt im Nachhinein zu denken, ist der Start nicht ganz einfach gewesen, aber uns freut, dass wir einen fairen Betrieb gegründet haben und ein super Produkt auf den Markt gebracht haben.
Unser Produkt versuchen wir in so viele Leute wie möglich zugänglich zu machen und da haben wir eine ganze Reihe an neuen Ideen, was wir noch umsetzen möchten und insofern ist noch weit nicht fertig.
Unity is strength. That's the motto of Be Eco, an organic brand founded by Igor Pardauf. This young Slovenian farmer has turned his cereal and oilseed into a variety of products that are sold in a dedicated store, together with products of other farms that joins his farm-to-plate project. Slovenian MEP Frank Bogovic is very proud to support him.
Member of European Parliament, Ambassador from Slovenia, I'm sending you very warm greetings and welcome you to this year's EPP Young Farmers Congress. I'm very glad to present you the current innovative young farmer from Slovenia, Igor Pardauf. As an organic farmer with a big sense of responsibility towards his ancestors and also towards other farmers from his region, Igor has been able to modernize and revitalize the farm and establish the farm's own brand, Be Eco. Under this brand, he's selling products directly to consumers, both products originating from his farm and from other farms nearby. Igor is a great example of modern young farmer who has a clear vision for the future of his farm and who understand that cooperation and innovation are the only way forward. Young farmers like Igor Pardauf are the reason why we in EPP are fighting for strong support for young farmers in future CAP.
Kmetija Pardauf je družinska kmetija s tradicijo, ki sega nazaj v leto 1875. Na naši kmetiji imamo veliko infrastrukture in veliko kmetijske mehanizacije, saj stremimo k preciznemu kmetovanju. Poleg stremenja k inovacijam so za nas pomembni kakovost, čistoča in urejenost. Naša kmetija je vključena v shemo ekološkega kmetovanja, saj se zavedamo njegovega pomena tako za zdravje ljudi kot za zdravje našega okolja. Ekološko kmetovanje predstavlja sonaraven način pridelave hrane in je osrčje našega delovanja. Pridelujemo 13 različnih kultur, to so žitarice in oljnice, ki jih pridelujemo v moke, kaše, kosmiče ter olja. Naše živali se veliko gibajo, saj prostor je edina, ki nam zagotovi kvalitetne mesne izdelke in jajca. Leta 2018 smo ustvarili svojo blagovno znamko Be Eco in odprli trgovinico z ekološkimi izdelki. V trgovini prodajamo svoje proizvode, kakor tudi proizvode lokalnih kmetij, s katerimi smo povezani. Namen trgovine je uvesti dobro prakso povezovanja in dostopnost kvalitetnih lokalnih prehrambenih izdelkov. Vzpostaviti želimo čim krajšo pot od kmetije do krožnika. Trenutno nas je povezanih 12 kmetij, s katerimi skupaj tržimo proizvode, pristopamo k pravilom, sodelujemo pri načrtovanju ter uživamo sadove našega dela. Skupni nastop na trgu predstavlja konkurenčno prednost za prav vsak člen te zgodbe. Povezovanje samo, ki je osrednji aspekt mojega prizadevanja, prinaša ogromno pozitivnih učinkov na socialno okolje. Slovenija je majhna dežela in brez povezovanja si težko uspešen. Prizadevam si za prenos znanja in s tem osveščenost ljudi o ekološkem kmetovanju. Na kmetiji organiziramo različne delavnice za otroke, sodelujem pa tudi v mentorskem sistemu, ki je pomemben projekt povezovanja med kmetovalci. Želimo, da naše znanje in izkušnje mlajšim generacijam prehranijo čas in stroške. S tem promoviramo poklic kmeta in dvigamo njegovo priljubljenost.
Slovenski najinovativnejši mladi kmet Igor Paldov ima vse odgovore na izzive današnjega kmetijstva. Kmetuje na ekološki način, svoje pridelke prodaja neposredno potrošnikom in sodeluje z okoliškimi kmeti, kajti skupaj smo močnejši.
He's the youngest participant in this contest. Georgi Mutafchiev is only 20 years old, but he is determined about his future. Up in the mountains in Bulgaria, he takes care of his goats as if they were part of his family. He turns a purely raw waste material from his milk into an innovative food product, organic goat's milk whey drink, which has particularly beneficial effects on human health. MEP Asim Ademov is supporting this project. Let's have a look.
Младите фермери играят важна роля за развитието на земеделието, животновъдството и селските райони в Европейския съюз. Искрено вярвам, че устойчивото развитие на сектора и постигането на целите на новата обща селскостопанска политика и на зелената сделка зависи от потенциала на младите хора да прилагат иновативни и екологични практики в стопанствата си. Българското земеделие и развитието на селските райони в България имат нужда от енергията на младите хора. Те са носителите на промяната, но и пазителите на традициите, за да има плавен преход между поколенията. Нека заедно посетим семейното стопанство на Георги Мутафчиев, българският победител в националния конкурс за най-добър млад фермер, и почувстваме силната връзка с земята и корените.
Това е моят роден край. Това са страхотните високи остри върхове на Пирин планина. Под него, в полетата и в горите, е сгушена нашата малка ферма. Това са нашите животни. Калинка, Найденка, Лиско, Бечо. Идеята за биопроизводството за нас е ключова, понеже ние стараем да не приличаме на конвенционалните производители, а да даваме свобода на всички животни, които отглеждаме тук, самата суровина, която добиваме от тях, да се преработва по един естествен начин и да даваме възможност на българите да консумират истински продукти от козе мляко. Животните са една по-специфична порода, местна дългокосместа и калферска дългокосместа. Аз откривам свободата, откривам любовта към животните, от начина по който те излизат и влизат във фермата, когато се хранят, когато се разхождат или когато се бият дори. Биосуроватката от козе мляко е един изключително полезен продукт, а отскоро това, което успяхме да установим, е, че суроватката е доста полезна и като биоантидепресант. Мечтая за това да успея да запазя всички неща, които моите родители са свършили за мен. Искам да оставя след себе си една положителна следа, един добър пример за млад човек, който може да се развива успешно в България. Човек стъпва на земята, сеща се кой е, къде се намира и че тези песни всъщност са едно продължение на вековни традиции, които не могат да изгаснат, докато има кой да ги пее.
Imagine 4 friends who love the countryside and eating healthy food. As Carolina Fernandez Martin explains, their dream came true when they decided to breed omega-3 enriched beef. She says their meat helps reducing cholesterol and prevent cardiovascular diseases. MEP Ignacio Zoido Alvarez is proud to introduce their work.
Tengo el honor de presentaros a Carolina, ganadera y ganadora del Premio Joven Agricultor 2020 que concede a Saja, la mayor organización agraria de España. El pasado febrero pude conocerla en persona y os puedo asegurar que es la mejor representante que España podría tener en este Congreso. Ella es una de esas mujeres emprendedoras que ha luchado para continuar una tradición ganadera familiar. Y como buena ingeniera agrónoma que es, no ha dudado en seguir apostando por la innovación y por la ciencia para continuar mejorando sus productos, demostrando que la ganadería española y europea es un sector muy modernizado y de mucho futuro. Y ella es también uno de los mejores ejemplos de esos agricultores sacrificados y trabajadores que siguieron al pie del cañón durante el confinamiento. Tanto es así que Carolina estuvo 102 días confinada con sus vacas, haciendo lo imposible para que todos pudiéramos seguir alimentándonos con sus deliciosos y saludables productos. Pero creo que lo mejor es que lo veáis con vuestros propios ojos.
Casa Gutier, el milagro de la carne enriquecida con omega 3. En este vídeo nos gustaría contaros una historia. Casa Gutier es el sueño de 4 emprendedores amigos amantes del campo, de lo rural, de lo auténtico. Siempre soñamos con desarrollar una carne única, de extrema calidad, pero sobre todo que fuese increíblemente saludable. Nos conocimos haciendo un máster y empezamos a informarnos y trabajar en torno a cómo mejorar la calidad y propiedades de la carne de vacuno. Para ello, además de procesar mucha información, comenzamos a trabajar con la universidad. Y aquí empezó todo. En nuestras ganaderías ya realizábamos previamente una crianza sostenible, cuidando cada detalle desde el nacimiento de los terneros hasta su madurez, cuidando además de nuestro entorno y del medio rural. Pero queríamos ir un paso más allá y cerrar la cadena de valor, llevando directamente nuestra carne innovadora hasta el consumidor. Hoy nuestro sueño es ya una realidad y estamos orgullosos de presentar nuestra ternera naturalmente rica en omega 3. Sus propiedades saludables disminuyen el colesterol y previenen enfermedades cardiovasculares, pero además nuestra carne hace que el consumidor realmente tenga un producto de calidad, una carne tierna, con mucho sabor y mucho más digestiva, un producto que habla. ¿A quién va dirigido Casa Gutier? Carniceros, restaurantes, familias, colegios, escuelas infantiles y para todos los que sean verdaderos amantes de la carne en general. En Casa Gutier podemos presumir de tener entre nuestros mejores clientes a muchas personas que se han reconciliado con la carne gracias a Casa Gutier. Recuerda, eres lo que comes y por eso tienes la mejor carne a un solo clic. Una carne que te cuida y que cuida de tu familia. Una carne que te va a emocionar. La carne Casa Gutier ha quedado a gran altura en catas con las mejores carnes del mundo y desde el principio ha obtenido numerosos reconocimientos. Si eres un verdadero amante de la carne y apuestas por cuidar tu alimentación, no lo dudes. Bienvenido a Casa Gutier. Disfruta de tu momento, Casa Gutier.
All right, you see that all the projects are very inspiring and it is very difficult to choose the best ones. That's why the 3 categories prize look at different aspects of the projects. The selection is made by following a set of criteria that Mrs. Giulia Martino from Ecoris will briefly illustrate. Giulia, can you please tell us which methodology you have used to evaluate the Young Farmers Award?
Thanks, Elena. Good morning, everyone. I'm Giulia Martino from Ecoris, a large consulting independent company only working for the public sector. We are really pleased to take part in the EPP European Congress of Young Farmers, and also that we have been asked to support the evaluation of the Young Farmers Award, in that there are many links between this initiative and the work that we perform. At Ecoris, our main task is to support the evaluation and the implementation of EU policies in different areas. And myself, I work in a team where we deal with agricultural policies and rural development. That being so, there are strong links with what we are discussing here today. And we have carried out a number of studies which are really important for the agricultural policy in the EU, such as a mapping and analyzing of the CAP, and really relevant for this initiative and this award, a study on young farmers and their needs. And finally, a recent publication on the financial needs of the EU agricultural sectors, including those of young farmers. So our role in the evaluation of this, in the evaluation process and in this award was twofold. So from one side, there was the communication, the exchange with the applicants. So receiving all the applications, really, and checking that they were received online and that they were complete with all the necessary documentation, and also checking them against the eligibility criteria, so meaning the age and the two important horizontal criteria of innovation and sustainability, where for innovation we mean the use of new technologies, new techniques, digital, smart, all these buzzwords, innovation and startups. Whereas for sustainability, we looked at the contribution of the projects to the concept of vibrant rural areas, and also to sustainability in all the three elements of it, so social, economic, and environmental sustainability. So after that, we sorted out the projects into the three prize categories that we have heard already about, so the digital champion, the environmental sustainable champion, and the food champion. In total, we received 15 applications, and that have been distributed in these three categories. And then we started the second part of our task, which was coordinate and facilitate the exchange with the jury members. So we prepared the grid, where we put all the projects divided into the three categories, or the 15, and we asked the jury to score each project against the two horizontal criteria of innovation and sustainability. And also we provided them with all the necessary information and documentation to analyze the projects. So the video, the application form, and all the supporting information. And then we coordinating the voting system. And then we received all the application and we put them together to come up with the final score. So with that, that's it from my side. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Giulia. Now that we're getting closer and closer to the awarding moment, let me introduce you the members of the jury. Mr. Norbert Linz, Chair of the Agri Committee at the European Parliament and President of the Jury Awards. Pierre Bascu, Director of the Directorate General for Agriculture and Rural Development at the European Commission. Yannis Mais, President of SEJA, European Council of Young Farmers. Thierry Deliscaille, Secretary General of the European Landowners Organization. And Pekka Pesonen, Secretary General at Copa Cogeca. I'm giving the floor now to Mr. Norbert Linz, because he's going to share with us the impression of the jury about the projects presented. Mr. Linz, the floor is yours.
Dear Elena, thank you very much. Dear members, dear colleagues, and especially dear young farmers. Thank you very much for the 15 excellent projects you have handed into the EPP Young Farmers Congress today. This year, the competition was particularly fierce, and in my role as president of the jury, I can say that it was not an easy task to identify the winners of this year's Congress. The 3 different categories of today's competition: digital champion in farming, environmental sustainable champion in farming, and food champion in farming, reflect the chances but also the challenges for agriculture in the future. Your projects really show the vast variety of European agriculture and how you adapt to your environment and working field and use the opportunities you have in your countries. Especially this year and during the Corona crisis, we have seen once again how essential European farmers are for the life of us all. Fresh and safe food is not a given. And that's why I would like to thank you all for your hard work that you are doing in order to guarantee food security in Europe. Nevertheless, we all have to adapt the new circumstances. Sustainability, productivity, and innovation have always been a part of European agriculture and will even be more important for the future due to climate changes and the contribution of agriculture for safe food and an intact environment. With today's competition, we would like to show that this is already the case. We have you, the young farmers, who are willing to take on this task and continue to contribute to a safe and better future. Thank you very much again for your hard work.
All right, now the moment that everyone was waiting for has finally come. As I said before, it was very difficult to choose the best one because all the projects are very interesting, promising, innovative. I'm very happy, therefore, to give the green light to start the award ceremony. I recall the 3 categories again: digital champion in farming, environmentally sustainable champion in farming, food champion in farming. Let's start then with the first prize category, the digital champion in farming. I leave the virtual floor to Mrs. Geraldine Kutash, Director General at ECPA, European Crop Protection Association. She's going to announce the winner. Please take the floor.
Thank you, Elena. I'm delighted to reveal the winner for this digital champion in farming. Actually, we had 4 projects in this category from 4 different member states, one from Finland, one from Lithuania, one from Romania, and one from Netherlands. Remember, the winner will receive a tablet and a drone, so very exciting prizes. And the winner is Wouter Brains from the Netherlands. Congratulations. Wouter developed genotyping of eggs to avoid the cooling of male chicks using innovative technologies. Obviously, it's saving resources, but it's obviously increasing animal welfare standards. So really, congratulations to you, Wouter.
Well, congratulations. It was a very interesting project, and also the award itself is very interesting, and I hope it also can help you to develop further your next projects. Let's discover then what is the project that convinced the jury to assign the prize for the environmentally sustainable champion in farming category. Mr. Gary von Essen, Secretary General of Euroseed, is pleased to announce it. Please, Mr. von Essen, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Elena. We're also very pleased to be part of this unveiling of the champions of the European Young Farmers Congress today. So as you explained already, in this category, we had actually 6 projects from also 6 different member states, from Belgium, Slovakia, Greece, Portugal, the Czech Republic, and Hungary. And also here we have an envelope to unveil the winner, and the winner is Mr. Pavlos Tsakiris from Greece. As you have heard before, Pavlos worked on a production of organic grain for animal feed and production of organic eggs. You will soon discover the video. This is obviously showing the importance in this project of combining economic sustainability and environmental sustainability. So really bringing organic farming to a new level with the help of technology and with the help of advanced knowledge. So congratulations to you, and a well-deserved win in this important category. Thank you very much.
Congratulations also to our participant from Greece. And also, let's see, last but not least, let's find out who won the last category, Food Champion in Farming. Now, Mr. Yannis Mais, President of SEJA, will present and announce the winner. So we are all ears.
Thank you. And let me start by congratulating all participants in all categories. And maybe a little message before I announce the winner. All of you have proven today to be real ambassadors for our sector. And we live in a sector which isn't acknowledged for its dynamic, its innovation, its sustainability. Please do keep on playing that role also in the coming months and years at home to showcase what 21st century farming looks like. And for the category of champion in food champion in farming, we had 6 participations from Bulgaria, Spain, Croatia, Slovenia, Austria, and Italy. And it's my privilege to announce the winner, which I have to say it's my privilege to announce the winners in plural, because both Josef Obenkircher and Andreas Kaiser from South Tyrol with their Kirnik gourmet mushroom have won. As you have seen in the video, the mushroom producers in South Tyrol who have been able to produce in an innovative way and also ensure that those mushrooms made their way to local restaurants to be consumed. Congratulations to you both. You will win a trophy. And you keep on doing the good work.
Thank you very much, and congratulations to the winners from the Netherlands, Greece, and Italy. This is a great recognition at European level, so you can really be proud of yourself. This is kind of an Oscar of the European farming. As the Congress is coming to an end, I would like to really thank all the people that made possible this event, also because of the conditions, the pandemic, you know, the impossibility to meet personally. First of all, I would like to thank the organizers, the European People's Party Group at the European Parliament, who is supporting young farmers and their efforts for sustainable farming. And of course, I would like to thank the 4 hosting MEPs and their devoted teams, as well as CAP, the Portuguese Farmers Association, and ASAJA, the Spanish Association of Young Farmers. We have also to thank all the 25 MEP ambassadors for bringing all these wonderful projects of farmers across Europe coming here at the Congress. And thanks really for encouraging young farmers and their talents across Europe to emerge. And thanks, of course, to the jury members, to our panelists, to our partners from Euroseeds, the European Crop Protection Association, to Ecoris for guiding the evaluation process, to Buscardini Communication for the professional work, for make this event possible digitally, and of course the live cast team for the technical support in broadcasting live today's event. And finally, really thanks to the guests who have joined our conversation in the panel. And thanks to those who have followed us live on Facebook, Twitter, social media, and on Zoom. And we really enjoyed organizing, and we really hope that you enjoyed also watching us. And despite the pandemic and the limitation that this situation entails, we managed to organize the 6th EPP European Congress of Young Farmers. We will organize another event next year to bring you the latest news on European agricultural sector. I was very happy to be here, and I hope to see you again next time. Thanks for watching.